We are here. Woo! We are live at Four Horsemen Studios for the post-payback, post-pay-per-view edition of the Money in the Bank Show. John,
yes?
I gotta tell Abby to do something.
Go ahead.
Abby, turn the clock off. This week, we're going match by match, pay-per-view for Raw, straight down to the show until we get to part 2 of the Edge interview.
Stay tuned
We're
for that.
going like that, son. Let's start right away.
All right.
With Sheamus and Sandow.
On the pre-show.
On the pre-show.
Now, I know this offended you. Tell me why it offended you.
First of all.
That it was on the pre-show.
First of all.
Yeah.
Gordon Vision strikes first.
Oh, we're starting already.
Yes, we are.
We're starting there
Because
already?
Let me tell you
We're
why.
not even working into it?
Let me tell you why.
All right.
Because I said that Sheamus has been mid-carded.
That
And
was
he-
obvious to everyone. What are you
No,
talking about?
no,
He's
it
fighting
wasn't.
a mid-carder, so he's mid-carded.
You guys did not agree.
What?
And now he ended up in the pre-show
Yes, he did.
fighting Sandow, which is proof, cemented proof that he's fighting in the mid-card land.
Well, see, I disagree. I think Yes. Yes. I'm going to disagree, but go ahead.
And he won, like
Yes.
I said he would.
Right, fair enough. No, I said Sandow would win.
Yes, you
so,
did.
So I'm wrong there. Absolutely.
Yes,
Roca
you
Sight
are.
failed on the Sheamus Sandow. However, what I will say is that I think they're using Sheamus to put Sandow over, which was proof positive on Raw because Sandow beat him clean, even with Cody Rhodes.
It wasn't clean
It was
with
a
Cody
handicap
Rhodes.
match. It was a handicap match, but Sandow beat him clean with no help, like no foreign object or none of that crap. And I called Sandow winning at the pay-per-view. It just was delayed one day. But it happened.
No.
And Roca Sight came to the Raw.
Roca Sight needs
Please.
Vision X from
Please,
you,
Gordon
son.
Vision needs context because it is not
Let
seeing
me
well
tell you
right now.
something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
All they were doing
Yeah.
with putting Sheamus in the pre-show
Yeah.
was trying to sell the pre-show.
No.
They weren't trying to
Yes,
sell
but
Sheamus.
They want Sandow.
They weren't trying to sell Sandow.
They want Sandow to jump, which is why they had him do the clean win last
Why
night.
didn't they have anybody see it? Why was it on the pre-show?
We saw it.
Yeah, because we had to. Well, I'm
We
not
hardcore-
going to say how we got access to it.
Shut up.
But
Yes, we paid for it.
Okay,
Like
let's-
everyone else.
Yes.
Like you should.
let's move on.
Yes. What? To what? What's
The
the next
triple
match?
threat match.
Woo!
Henning,
Yes.
Barrett, and The Miz.
Wait. Henning, his name is Curtis Axel. There's
Right.
no Henning at all.
Okay, but he's really Kurt Henning's
Yeah,
son.
please. I'm so mad about it. Go ahead.
This triple threat match was really slow
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah, it was. It was like a Frankenstein movie. It really was.
But they built into it.
Yes, they did. Woo! That was fantastic.
The way that it ended.
Yes.
With Gordon Vision striking again.
Yeah.
And Curtis Axel winning the IC title. I said it was going to happen.
I give in to that.
That is
Absolutely.
twice.
He was right.
Of course, I'm left-handed, but I'm right about this. Okay? Curtis Axel won
Yes.
that match.
He did.
Cleanly
Yeah, he did.
to win the new Intercontinental Championship.
He did.
What did you think about the way that The Miz and Barrett's now lost 2 matches in a row.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. They're pushing Barrett right back down, which is a shame for me. I hate that they're doing that because I love Barrett. I think he's a good wrestler. He couldn't carry that match though, man. And it's difficult when you're dealing with someone who is semi-talented in the ring like Miz, and you have someone like Axel who's just learning the in-ring work and how to do the chemistry with these guys. But I will tell you, it certainly picked up near the end, and I should have seen it coming that they would have Axel win on Father's Day.
Of course.
Because Mr. Perfect, who is, God rest his soul, was his dad, and it's just a perfect tribute to him. And I didn't mind it. Like I'm not a big fan of Curtis Axel. I'm coming around him slowly.
I am.
But I didn't mind him winning actually afterwards. And
I
it was
will tell you
great.
this.
What a shocking ending! What a shocking ending! That was genius.
It was. And-
That was genius.
But I have good news for you, my friend.
Yes.
Wade Barrett is going to get a push.
God, I hope so.
Typically, when you lose
Oh, what a push!
lose a pay-per-view like that, and
Yeah.
you lose a match like that following on Raw,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're a champion
right.
in the IC belt, when you fall out of the IC title division,
Yeah.
it means you're either prepping you for a world title push,
God, I hope
or
so.
you're going completely to the bottom of the ring. He's too talented to go to the bottom of the
I
Raw.
agree. I'm glad you say that. I'm
Yes.
glad you've come around
Now,
on him.
What they're probably going to do in these next few weeks is develop his shortcomings. If you've noticed, he even came out on Raw with a little bit of a swagger.
Yeah, I love that.
He's getting
even
better.
on the pay-per-view.
He's getting
he had
better.
the jacket on. And he's
It's
like,
getting better.
Yeah, I agree.
He's getting ready. The barrage is coming for you. What's next? Oh, okay.
Wait.
Oh, okay, you go ahead.
This is my match.
Okay, tell me. Oh, yes.
the Divas Championship. What did I rant about a few episodes ago? Do something to fix the Divas division. And what happened? They turned Caitlyn crazy. It was awesome. AJ did her whole thing on Raw last week, and you didn't know who was going to win. Now, you called it. You called AJ Lee winning. Gordon Vision, go ahead, give him the hashtag. Roka Site called Caitlyn winning because I thought
Gordon Visions in a row.
No, wait a second. Roka Site.
I'm like the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. That's
Yeah.
a three-peat.
Damn.
Let's go.
Damn, I have to admit that's true. But I thought she was going to snap her like a twig. And there were many instances where I thought that happened. AJ, much love, much props. She took mad bumps during that match. Mad bumps during that match.
She milked the storyline of the match.
She really did. And having her win was not clumsy or crappy or like not believable. The great switch reversal
Had
to do it twice.
Yeah.
And the second time, Caitlyn almost wrapped her leg around, but then it couldn't do it.
Tell you
I thought that
something.
was great.
This match was so good.
It was good.
That our co-producer Phil, who slept for most of the pay-per-view, was awake during that match.
He's been working a lot, and
We've been working him.
But he woke up for that
match
one.
woke him up.
That kept him
He
alive.
was like, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
You gotta admit, to any of the watchers out there, you have to admit that was a hell of a Divas match. It
Yes,
was
it was.
almost old school Attitude Era good.
And
Almost.
here's the good thing for Caitlyn.
Yeah.
That means she now has a storyline.
Right, which they went
It's more
forward
important
to.
than winning a title, having
I
a
agree.
storyline.
I agree. Which is going to be interesting to see with the other people in her entourage, which we'll talk about later. But what I thought was interesting on Raw was having Stephanie come out. You tell me what that's all about. Like, why does Stephanie have to come out and step on the neck of these divas? We already know what Stephanie is. We already know Stephanie's power. What are we getting out of this?
The only thing that I can potentially see happening here, because it really doesn't make any sense. I agree with you.
Yeah, thank you.
The only thing I can see
Yeah.
is if Stephanie actually tries to get into the ring. That's the only way this makes any sense. Otherwise, why come out and dismiss and put down your divas?
Yeah.
Unless you plan on taking the title away from AJ after no one can beat her.
Right.
She may go through kind of like a Hogan-esque where no one can beat him. Like in the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah.
Like go through all of the divas and there's nobody left.
I'd be happy with that. Actually, I would be all for AJ Lee going through all the divas and coming close to losing and winning every time. I'd be cool with that.
I think
She's
it's
an
gonna
underdog.
happen.
She's a skinny girl. Nobody thinks she can really beat these. She's small. I mean, when she stands next to Caitlyn, who's not a tall girl, she looks small. So,
Yeah,
and Stephanie
that's
looked
true.
like she was going to eat her. She's so big.
Well, Stephanie was also
insane.
wearing 72-inch
Heels,
heels.
right.
Like, we get it. You're the boss.
And she had her man voice on.
Yeah,
Hardcore.
she did.
Didn't she?
No, and I thought it was good. But
unsettling.
I think that, like you said, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I can't believe we're even talking about a Diva segment that long.
I'm
which
happy.
means you guys are doing your dang thing.
Right.
Good stuff. Now, speaking of the McMahons.
Yeah.
I want to ask you real quick.
Sure.
On Raw, Vince
Yeah.
and Triple H.
Woo!
What did you...
The power struggle is happening.
This is good.
Poor Vicky. I never, ever thought I would feel sympathy for Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me?
And watching
Excuse
her,
me?
hashtag excuse me. And watching her get, like, not know which way to turn.
She's doing a great job.
She's playing all
I really like
it.
it.
Having to listen to Triple H, Vince, and Stephanie and not know which one to listen to because they're all giving you
I don't know what to do.
Right. I was like, oh, I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. I wouldn't know who to listen to. You want to listen to Vince, but then Triple H looks like he could rip your arms off, and then Stephanie looks like she would punch you through the face.
Now,
so
what
who
is-
do you go with?
It seems like what they're doing in a weird way, which
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It looks like they're pushing Triple H versus Curtis Axel for the IC Championship.
Well, no, because Triple H said no.
I know, but he's going to get convinced in the end to take the match.
You think so?
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. He's going to say no, and then eventually it's a payoff. Bill, yes.
Because they're building the Miz Axel thing. So you think they'll bring Triple H in to be part of this whole thing?
The Miz,
Oh God.
I think the Miz is in trouble.
Listen, I love you, man. Stay behind the table. Don't get in the ring. Stay behind it. You're great behind the table, but you're done as a heel. You're done unless you go.
He's done as a face.
He's done as a face. He's done as a heel. He's done as any version. I think he
Really?
should be a commentator.
I think he
He's
can do
great
the
as a
heel thing.
commentator.
He's got to shave the head back down low. And what he's got to do, honestly,
that
if he's going
long
to
hair's
stay in
gotta
the ring,
Yeah.
is do a reset.
Go heel.
You're getting a little softer on
Do
the
an
edges.
Usana reset. Lose a little bit of weight.
Like maybe
go
10
heel
pounds.
and go hardcore.
Yes.
The heel.
If
go
you're going
nuts
to
heel.
do the figure 4,
Yeah.
you got to go Flair if you're going to go all the way with the Flair persona, which I will get to later on in this show.
Yeah.
Man,
Let's let's take a break.
Okay.
Because we are winded, and we're about to enter into the meat of the pay-per-view and Raw. Welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. As you can tell, if you've been watching, there's a lot of energy in this room.
Grr.
But there wasn't a lot of energy during that John Cena Ryback 3 stages of boring-ass hell match. Andre, what did you think when you were watching this match?
Cena, I've got a message for you.
Oh. Ooh.
But I'm not going to waste my time talking about the match right now.
Okay.
This is what I think about that match. Patui! Next, let's talk about RVD.
Wait a second. We have to give it some kind of
Okay,
sense.
fine. The best thing about that match was when John Cena jumped off the rope into the 40 other
Oh, yeah.
lumberjacks.
Yeah.
That was good. Congratulations. I thought it was boring.
So boring.
I thought it was slow-paced. I
Yes.
thought it was two Neanderthals hitting each other with big drumsticks they ripped off the buffalo they got. There was no sense of story
There really
in this
wasn't.
match.
And that ending was crap.
Threw him through the trapdoor.
The trapdoor in the top of
and
the ambulance. The audience was like, "Oh, it's over. Thank God, we can go home." It really was
I'm
terrible.
so upset.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Listen,
truthfully.
I don't hate Cena as much as Andre hates Cena. But
Did you watch last week's show?
I hate Cena mic work. But
I don't like what they're doing with Cena.
yes, great. None of us. Anyway, all right, fine. We don't like what they're doing with Cena, but let's not keep talking about it. Let's just move on. Who's back? Who's back?
What have we got?
The whole effing show.
Yes! RVD, I am so excited.
I am too.
I'm really hoping, RVD, that you come back in top form, little gut, big arms, jump up for the froggy splash, ribbit, or 5-star.
5-star frogs. Stealing the show. That's what we want you to do because everyone knows that RVD is the whole damn show.
And Rob Van Dam is coming back at the pay-per-view entitled The Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Now,
Who else is coming back?
I would say
Who else
another
came back?
Mr. Money in the Bank, one of the two best wrestlers in the Money in the Bank of all time.
Yes.
I'm looking for my peeps. Former tag team champion with Edge.
Yes.
Christian is back.
Captain Charisma.
Oh, man. I think it's going to be great to have him back. I've missed his in-ring work.
Oh, yeah.
I've missed everything he brings, the energy he brings to the crowd,
Yeah.
the way he works a match. He is phenomenal. One of the best workers in the WWE.
Yeah, we're happy to have him back.
And we learned a lot about Christian.
Yeah.
And we're going to share it with you. Coming up right now, part 2 of the exclusive interview with the Rated R superstar, Edge.
We are here with our very special guest, the ultimate opportunist, Edge, now known as Adam Copeland. Adam, we wanted to get right back into the interview with you, talking about how you were, you named yourself most likely to win the WWE with the F shaded out championship. Growing up doing wrestling, going around the circuit in the Canadian indie circuit, are there any favorite stories on the road that you can share with us? What it was like to get people to see what it was like to be out there at that time and at that age?
Well, I mean, you're still a kid, right? You know, it's like 21, 22, 23, kind of 24-ish. No, I was already signed by that point. So up until 23. So kind of from 17 till 23, not only, I don't know, you're learning just about getting out on the road and kind of leaving home and all of those things. And then, you know, throwing on tights at night. And but getting in the ring with guys like Bad News Brown and Rick Martel. And
Bad News Brown.
I'm like, whoa, okay, this is pretty surreal because 10 years ago, this is what I said I was going to be doing, and now I'm in, I don't know, like Cocan, New Brunswick, wrestling Bad News Brown. And maybe 200 people here, but I'm doing it. I'm in it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like the Wild West. You know, it was really pre-internet, so you didn't have a lot of tools at your disposal. You know, it was one of those things where it was word of mouth, and it was VHS tapes, and it was networking. So you would get to a and
Right.
just, have some buddies that we broke in with.
Right.
But we would just go wherever we could, really. And you would generally make enough on the tour just to kind of get back home.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And get a meal a day. That was kind of the big thing. We'd try and find a place where we could at least eat once, and preferably all you can eat. So
Right.
you'd pound back like $3.99 all you can eat pasta, and they would hate seeing us come in because you get 8 wrestlers that are like in their 20s. Can eat a shitload. So it ends up like they really want to get you out of there. But that's what we did.
Right.
And whether it was driving across frozen lakes or supposedly frozen lakes and being chased off of native reservations or whatever it is, there was so many crazy things that I look back at now fondly, but there's no way in hell I would do it now.
Yeah. I was looking at the era, just growing up watching wrestling at that time. It's interesting because that time was, especially in the 80s and going into the 90s, a lot of big, muscular, linebacker-looking type of guys.
Yeah.
And you and Jay and Jeff and Matt, you guys are of a different mold. So for you, coming up, what was the thing that you felt gave you the advantage or gave you the edge?
Yikes.
No, what do you feel like really gave you something that set you apart to allow you to compete with guys that were bigger than you? You weren't the biggest and the strongest guy, but you still were able to hang. And what was it? Like, what was your thing?
I don't know. I think for me, seeing guys like Sean and Brett break through, I was like, okay, that gives me hope because they're not the biggest guys. They're still big guys in great shape, compared to the average human. But in the wrestling industry, they're on the smaller side, but they're just so highly skilled. And I thought, okay, well, if I can try to be highly skilled, I mean, I'm 6'4", and I've floated between 260 and 230. So in everyday life, I'm considered huge.
Yes.
Right.
But you get there, and it's like, no, actually, you're wrestling Batista. And, he's 6'3" and he's 290.
Oh,
okay. So I just wanted to be able to adapt to anybody that I was wrestling. And I thought if I could do that, I'd studied this long enough, and I'd put in, kind of a homework of just watching.
Yeah.
I thought I could try and get in there with anybody, whether it be a Bad News Brown at the end of his career. You had to tailor your match accordingly.
Right.
And then if I got in there, with Jay, the sky's the limit. So you had to adapt on the independents before I ever got there, and that really, really helped me. So that when I was wrestling Big Boss Man, I could wrestle his style.
Right.
yeah.
But then if I got in there with Jeff Hardy, I could, once again, what can we come up with? What can we imagine that you could do in a video game? Because I think we can do it. Where I kind of got trapped for a little while is people assumed that I was one of the small guys, kind of doing this stuff.
Right.
And after a while, you just can't really do it anymore. And so I changed my style kind of accordingly. And I worked smaller than I was, I guess. So once I kind of realized, okay, I can throw a big boot instead of a drop kick off the top rope, and it gets a bigger reaction.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Well, what was it like for you to, because you were breaking through with the WWF now, what would be the WWF at the time. What was it like for you to get that call from Bret Hart when you did at that stage in your career?
Well, it was interesting because I was wrestling, it's kind of come full circle because I'm back out here and just outside Halifax, and it's where I first got the call, hey, you should go to Bret's and do some training with him because he was down with a knee scope.
Right.
So, and he was WWF champ at the time. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, where do I sign up? So I was wrestling out here. I worked up enough money from the tour to hop on a plane, get out there. I didn't have a place to stay or any money, and I knew like three people in Calgary.
Wow.
Jericho, he was in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right.
Lance Storm, who I didn't know well enough yet, and this
Wow.
guy Johnny Smith, who used to wrestle in Stampede Wrestling. And I'd wrestled Johnny, so I was like, Johnny, hey, I'm in Calgary. He goes, okay, I'll come get you. Picked me up from the airport, took me into his home. Him and his wife and their little baby daughter, I think it was nice for them because they finally had a babysitter so they could cook. But he would drive me to Brett's every day, take me to the gym, and feed me. And
Wow.
he's kind of an unsung hero in my story because he got me seen by Brett. He helped get me seen by Brett just by picking me up from that airport. And
wow.
then I got in there with Brett, and he said, let me do some investigating because you got something. And then I came back out here to the East Coast. I wrestled some more, and then I went back out to Brett's, and I brought Jay with me this time. And then he said he was going to talk to JR. Brett said he was going to talk to JR for me.
Wow.
I went and did a tour through Northern Ontario and Manitoba. Got a call at this little place called Cat Lake. Had one phone on the reservation, and it was in the police station, which was a trailer. And it was Carl DeMarco, Canadian president of WWE, and he said, okay, there's a contract waiting for you down in Stamford. As soon as his tour is done, you got to hop on a plane from Winnipeg to New York. I went, okay.
Wow.
And that was pretty much it. I got down there, and they took me to the TV studio. Michael Hayes was waiting in a ring. And,
Freebird, yeah.
said, all right, we're going to have a match. I went, okay. And then from there to JR's office, and he goes, okay, kid, we got a contract, $210 a week. All right, where do I sign up?
And then, before we go to break, I just want to ask you about your first match with Bob Holly.
Right.
Oh, yeah. It was that's kind of another way that the whole thing with Brett got set in motion, too. My first contact with WWF was word of mouth had kind of gotten around to this guy, Carl DeMarco.
Yeah.
And he had taken over the Canadian presidency. One night, somebody didn't show up. I don't know who. They said, we need an opponent for Bob Holly at Cops Coliseum, Hamilton. So my car had broken down. I had no money. I just finished a radio broadcasting course, and I was doing my internship in this little hamlet called Rockwood, Ontario. So
wow.
Jay, I didn't have a phone or anything. They got a hold of Fuego, then they got a hold of Jay. Jay came, picked me up, took me to Cops Coliseum in his mom's old Ford Taurus, and got to the dressing room, sat there like 3 hours early. I actually beat Barry Horowitz to the dressing room, which was I sat out since. Is like he was shocked because it was like nobody beats me to the dressing room. Like I'm always the first one here, but I beat him anyway. So then about half an hour before the show, Bob Holly walks up. He goes, "How long you been working?" I was like, like 3.5, 4 years. He went, "Fuck," and walked away. I went, okay, well, this should be interesting. And I realized, after the fact that Bob's a pretty miserable guy at the best of times. And, but that's just the way he is. And it's nothing personal. He just was like, great, I got to work this kid who probably doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And he was at a point in his career where, he needed to make some good showings. So if he's in there with some guy who doesn't know what he's doing, it's not going to look good on him. Right. Thankfully, match went great. The crowd counted along with the finish, not knowing who the hell I was, and at that point he was still like spark plug. So the fact that we got the crowd into it was kind of saying something at that point.
No doubt.
And he was happy after. So we were all good after that.
That's great.
Well, I want to thank the guy that didn't show up.
Yeah.
Because
Me too.
and we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. More with Adam Copeland.
Greetings, I'm the Professor with your Move of the Week. Helping me this week will be from Paradise City, Jezebel, and as always from the island of Tonga, Matt Practice. Now this week, the move is going to be the naked chokehold. Now I know what you're saying, this is an illegal move that's only used by heels and bad guys, and that it's up there with eye rake and crotch chop, moves that are a little bit more unsavory, shall we say. Of course, with this move, she has a full 5 count before she's disqualified by the ref. As you can see, she's just grabbing the throat, pushing those thumbs right into the Adam's apple, squeezing off the trachea, rendering them unconscious if she holds it on too long. That's why this is an illegal move, because it is so dangerous. Ow. Looks to kill. I'm the professor with your moves of the week.
Vamos en caballeros, yo quiero Taco Bell. En el taco, Alberto Del Rio is back.
Hola, perros. I am back now. I am the heel. I have made the turn. Ziggler, how is your head feeling? Yeah, because you are kicked a lot like a football. Goal! Alberto Del Rio.
That was definitely a goal. He kicked him around like a soccer ball.
I'm just saying. That's what Spanish people do.
I know.
Latinos, we kick your head like a soccer ball. It was beautiful. It was the match of the night.
You
Trey.
said that match was going to steal the pay-per-view.
Ding, ding, ding.
And in pure Latino fashion, you stole it. Better than I
What
could.
the? How can you say that?
I know. Black people steal
Rokasite.
sometimes. You're right.
I said that match was going to steal the pay-per-view.
You did.
And
You
I
did.
also said that Del Rio was going to win. So Rokasite is there for everyone to see.
Hashtag
Oh, here of course.
Gordon Vision
Oh, please. Please.
said.
Said
and I
what?
want you guys to go back and watch last week when I said that when actually John said, "Oh, you said that Ziggler was going to go face, and how'd that turn out for you?" Guess what? Ziggler
What?
is going face. Let me tell you why.
You said he was going to come back as a face. Coming back, turning face at some point in the future does not count as a prediction.
He went
It's
face
like
during the match.
Nostradamus.
He came
What?
back. His first comeback match.
He was a
as
heel.
No,
He
he
was
wasn't.
a heel.
And let me tell you how it got cemented. Number one, and we were watching this, and I said it as
We
it was
did.
happening.
Yeah.
I said he's gonna beat him senseless, like keep beating him, and the crowd is gonna start to sympathize with Ziggler.
That's true. He did say that.
Yeah, of course I did.
I mean, everybody could see that was happening. But yes, he did say it first. Go ahead.
And then I said what's gonna happen is
Vision.
that
Gordon Vision. Yes.
he is gonna go heel. Ziggler's gonna go, and they started cheering for Ziggler.
I
And
couldn't
then,
believe it.
And then the next night on Raw, they're cheering, "We want Ziggler."
They were.
That sounds like a face to me.
He's still with AJ, who's a heel.
AJ,
who's a heel.
AJ's gone. I'm telling you right now.
You think she's going to turn? We talked about this. We actually said this when we were
She's
watching
losing
it.
AJ.
What is she going to do? She's got to turn on him and
not
be
gonna
like,
wanna be the
I don't want
loser.
to be the loser. Exactly. We said this when we were
Hashtag
watching.
Brooke Rothman.
Oh, wait, no, no shots. And...
I love you, Brooke.
No, but it was fantastic. And I thought that it was a genius job by the WWE creative team to turn him heel in that way. Because we were watching, and I started to say, like, wow, he's really focusing on his head.
Yes!
They are doing this concussion. And remember last week I said that they would use the concussion storyline on Ziggler, and damn it if they didn't put it into the...
Yes.
And I was just shocked at how many times they kicked him in the... He kicked him in the head.
When Ziggler first went out
Yes.
4 weeks ago,
Right.
if you go back and watch,
Yeah, right.
Andre Gordon
Oh, boy.
said,
Here we go.
John Roca said that this is either a true legitimate concussion,
Right.
or they're using it as an angle.
Yes.
To make us sympathize with him to be a face. And they played it out.
They did.
And
They
it
really
worked.
did. And I was I was watching it, and it was like old school. You started calling it. How would it have been if Jim Ross had been calling that match?
He kicked him in the head. His frontal lobe is oozing out of his brain. We need to get some help out here.
He's giving him multiple concussions. It was insane.
Now, the good thing about this, John,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that I was definitely falling out of favor with Del Rio before this match.
Wait.
Really, they were losing me.
You said you were coming around to him being a face.
Yeah, but then the next two, when they had him face Big E three weeks in a row,
Yes.
I was like,
oh, agreed. They
I
were
get
wasting
it,
him. They
guys.
were
I
wasting
get
him
it.
on that. Yeah.
So now they're back.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it
Okay.
too.
Now,
Oh, we're going hardcore. All right then.
John, what did you think, man?
Hold on, we're taking this off.
I'm
we're gonna
reading-
get down.
I'm reading stuff
Yeah. Go ahead.
about how this match was. They say this match stole the show, and
I don't
disagree.
understand that. I don't
I
understand
thought this
that.
match was was basically a C+,
Yeah.
maybe a B-.
Yeah.
CM Punk is a face,
Yeah.
which we both thought that was going to happen.
Yes.
Gordon, Vision, Ricochet living together as one.
As one.
But I felt like Cena.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh, don't
Cena.
say that. We're gonna get to Cena. Let's.
I felt
Yeah.
like CM Punk kind of just was like walking through the match.
It looked like he was going through the motions. He looked rusty as. This would never happen with Austin. He
Made
looked
him-
rusty as hell, and he looked like he was just walking through the spots in the match. Okay, now I'm supposed to feel like you're beating me. Now I'm supposed to feel excited. Now I'm supposed to play to the crowd.
And I
Now
wasn't
I'm
sure
supposed-
if it was
going on?
in the storyline of where, like, if it's like, oh, this guy who's come back who's lost his interest
Right,
in it.
right.
Like, I don't know what I have no idea what they're doing with this. If it was literally ring rust.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine he hasn't wrestled really in 5 weeks.
Right.
He's been wrestling. He's got to have been training.
Right.
But it seemed really.
I was surprised. I was so surprised, and I don't understand when he comes on Raw. Now wait a second. First of all,
Yeah.
a special shout out to Chris Jericho for trying to have a good match. If we could
break the wall down.
And it's even more special shout out to one of our young fans, Jesse Peters, who's a big fan of Chris Jericho. He was fantastic on that match, and he tried his best to carry that match as possible, but Punk just was giving nothing.
Jericho's
I don't
putting
care
people
what the
over,
Chicago
man.
crowd was doing. Punk was giving nothing.
I wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with
We kept
it.
commenting the whole time.
Now, what you did call was CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar. That was a brilliant call.
I was having that as it was happening in the pay-per-view. I was like, wait a minute. If he does go face, they're
Which he
going to have
did.
Heyman's going to because he's going to turn on Heyman. And what did happen on Raw? He turned on Heyman.
Yes, he did.
He turned on Heyman, and you knew. And as soon as Lesnar came out at Raw, I was like, there it is. There it is.
There is Brock.
Yeah, there it is. It was fantastic. I love it. Punk did a way better match on Raw than
Yeah.
he did on the pay-per-view, which was surprising.
Punk was the old Punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he was wrestling on the pay-per-view, he was a Punk.
Yeah.
And guess what? We'll be right back. Punk.
What you want?
We are back for John and I's favorite segment, the Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week. John,
Yes.
do you mind if I go first?
Please be my guest.
My Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week is Jinder Mahal.
What the hell?
Please.
What?
Yes.
Please, you must explain this to the viewers.
Don't hinder Jinder. 3MB is one of the worst factions I've ever seen in my entire life. They rival the Smurfs, okay? It's like the Smurfs on the wrestling show. It wouldn't work. Can you break them up and let them do the thing? Drew McIntyre was brought in as the chosen one. What's his face? Carrot Top
Yeah.
was supposed to be one of the Nexus BAs,
Yeah.
badasses,
Yeah.
and now Jinder Mahal. You finally bring in a wrestler of Indian persuasion, of Asian descent, and he's doing nothing. In fact, they bring him into the ring with the turban in a glass case. Can we get any more stereotypical than a turban in a glass case? My plea to you, WWE, if you're gonna have him around, don't hinder Jinder. John.
All right. My Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week is someone that we've spoken about a few times on the show that has always put the fear of God in me, and that is Mark Henry. That's what I do. That's what I do. Mark Henry was amazing last night on Raw. He sucked us all in. He was crying. That's acting, ladies and gentlemen. He was crying. He had tears. Cena did the whole thing with him and gave him the belt. The fans were chanting for him. One more match. You still got it. All this stuff. And he went to give Cena a hug. Cena's like, brother, bring it in. We're going to miss you. Oh my God, wham! It was amazing. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. What an amazing turn. And he said, I still got some life left in the tank. I still got more left in the tank. And he walked out and he stole the damn show. Mark Henry, I love you now, man. I love you like never before. And please, you are the great black hope to destroy Cena and take that title. Finish what Ryback couldn't finish. Mark Henry, I am with you now. No more fear. Just love, brother. Just love.
And Cena, I still have a message for you.
Hi there. I'm the TA, and this is This Week in Professional Wrestling History. Teach us once again, Professor.
I'm the Professor, and let's get right to it. In 1983, Junkyard Dog beat Bob Roop to win the Mid-South North American Championship. In 1985, Sergeant Slaughter bested Larry Zbyszko to win the AWA America's Heavyweight Championship. But for the Professor's pick, I have to go with 2007, when it was announced that Vince McMahon Jr. would be receiving a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame, thus proving and solidifying his influence on the world of entertainment.
I didn't get all of that. I may need some private tutoring. Class dismissed.
All right, welcome back from that very entertaining future, if I can say so myself. The Glass Ceiling Wrestler of the Week. Now it is time to end our show as we do every week with the Direct to You by Andre and the Roca Rant by me. I'm going to start off, Andre, if that's good with you. And I can tell you are getting psyched up to talk about your stuff. My thing is this. Concussions. WWE. I'm talking to you. What are you doing? What is going on with this concussion storyline? You have doctors at ringside now? All of a sudden, the concussions are a big deal. Everyone's getting a concussion. It's like Christmas. Everyone gets a concussion. Tamia, you want a concussion? Here's a concussion. Ziggler, here's a concussion. Swagger, here's a concussion. Hell, everybody, concussions for everybody. It makes no sense to me. Mick Foley should have 900 concussions by now. Terry Funk, 1,800. It is ridiculous. If you're going to give this storyline real credit, and that's what it is, it's a storyline, so in essence you're making fun of it, which I'm not 100% happy about. Because, you had a whole match where Del Rio was basically using Ziggler's head like a soccer ball. It was insanity. It was like Gallagher with a melon. It was just like that the whole match. So to me, do it for real, or don't waste our time with it, because it's too serious of a subject where people are actually losing their memories, losing their minds, and forgetting the names of their kids, forgetting the names of their family. It's a legitimate issue. So if you're going to make a storyline out of it, don't make fun of it. You can still play it for laughs at moments, but it has to be serious. So I'm just saying, that's my thing. Andre, take it away.
There comes a time in every man's life when he's got to step out on his own. Balky Bartogamous had to step away from Larry and Perfect Strangers.
Oh my God.
Simba had to step out and the Lion King and claim his manhood. Now it's my time, John Cena.
What? What are you doing?
Let me tell you something, John. SummerSlam, Los Angeles, California.
We live there.
You and me. I am challenging you.
What?
To a match of epic proportions.
What?
John is going to train me.
Okay.
And because it's hometown hero, I choose the stipulation. So for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to take my USANA vitamins.
Plug.
And I'm going to train. Because, John, someone's going to put you in your place. You are not the heavyweight champion. You see these belts? I'm a decorated champion. There's another belt over here you haven't even seen. I am taking you out. I'm going to show you. I'm going to make sure that when you do the you can't see me, you're missing something out of that. That's my only hint to you, John.
Woo!
Direct to you. I am taking you out SummerSlam because I am bringing the Chocolate Thunder.
What the? Amazing.
Tune in next week for part 3 of the Edge interview.
That's our show.
Our show's done.
Thank you for watching.
John,
Yes.
your days are numbered.
Are you talking to Cena?